Hi, besties. Welcome to the podcast where we're all friends because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking
Having
about
so much fun.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Bravo should be fun.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo. Allegedly allegations, where we're in a safe space to gossip, share our thoughts, and opinions.
That girl's a liar. That girl's a liar.
About the Bravo celebrities, shows, and celebs we love, hate, and
that's when
love
Chef
to
goes,
hate.
Oh, suddenly now you're so religious?
So be cool. Don't be all uncool.
He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
Because sometimes things may get a little, well, ridiculous.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on. Ah! Oh my God!
It's like the Blair Witch Project or something. All you can hear in the background is, oh my God, has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God, can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
I'm so glad you're here to enjoy the fun. So, thank you for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thank you for joining us today. We have Georgio Takounakis, one of your faves, back on our usual Thursday. Hi, Georgio.
Hi. It is beautiful outside, but it's cold here. It was warm yesterday. So it's messing with people.
Yeah, I am so glad to be back in my usual space. Last week, those of you on YouTube saw me in my parents' house, and I was just doing the best I could. When I say we were snowed in, we could not leave the house until at least Friday evening. Yeah, it was woo. And it's beautiful here, except for the snow piles everywhere.
The worst part of like a snowstorm is the aftermath.
The mud, the dirt, the rumors, the nastiness about the snow. Well, Georgio, a lot has happened this week.
Oh, just when I thought I was having a little break this week
No.
with Miami and Beverly Hills being
Nope.
done, it was like, nope.
Never.
You know?
Never.
Never a dull moment.
No, we got to start with Karen Huger. Oh my God.
Oof. The amount of digging I was into, like, because I live here. So I was like trying to look through my phone. Like, who do I know that's like, who can tell me what she was cited with? Of course, it came out later last night. I knew it would. But
Damn.
this is not her first time at the rodeo, though, guys.
No.
She's had one before.
Exactly.
And it's funny now because she doesn't like Charisse around. And I'm wondering if it's because Charisse has mentioned the amount of times that she's been sloshed at the local bar in Potomac.
Yeah. Charisse is kind of the bone collector of Potomac. Y'all, if you didn't know, Karen Huger had a decent-sized car accident the night before last, I believe it was.
Tuesday night at 11:50 p.m.
There you go. And she got a DUI. And listen, people make mistakes. We learn, we live. But normally those mistakes should have happened only in your 20s at the very worst. And like you said, this was not her first time. I love the Grand Dame, but girlfriend, you have the money. Get you an Uber, get a driver. Or was it the driver that they were accusing her of hooking up with? Was that? You remember that? Mr. Blue Eyes?
Well, yes, Mr. Blue Eyes, but I've heard that she also anyways, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. She's definitely I have a lot to say about this just because not because it's just Karen, because I love my Karen, but her statement to TMZ is what bothers me, I think, the most, because just don't say anything.
Exactly. Wasn't her statement that she was crying and a
Well, it
car
was that
came
she was
over?
grieving her mom, and there were some sensitive topics at dinner with her friend, and so it got very emotional. But she claims that here's what I don't understand. Her statement says that she hit a tree. The report that came out does not mention a tree. It says that she drove through a median, hit a crosswalk sign, and then finally hit a parking sign off the road.
Oh my God.
And then her car came to a stop. But she was going so fast that clearly her car was not drivable afterwards. So it wasn't like she just, not that it would be okay ever, but like, you know,
It wasn't a Shannon thing where she kept driving.
thankfully not, but thankfully she wasn't hurt either. But
Yeah.
like, she claims that this car was driving and it was going to drive head on to her, and that's why she swerved. But she said she was crying heavily as well, so her eyes were like
Blurry.
But they are blurry when you've been drinking and crying all night. Have you ever drank and cried?
Have I ever?
Drinking? I have multiple times. And I'll just say this, you don't want to be driving at night when you've been doing either one of those. First of all, in this day and age, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
That if you know you're going out and you're going to meet up with a friend, you're going to have cocktails, you know this, you know ahead of time, you're going to have a cocktail or two.
It sounds like 3 or 4 or 5, but yeah.
Absolutely. But in that situation, then you, even if you did drive there, your choice should have been to Uber back home and come get your car in the morning, because you clearly have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no excuse. There's just no excuse. And honestly, thankfully, no one was walking or anywhere near the situation where she could have harmed someone else. And luckily, she didn't harm herself or kill herself, God forbid, because it's triggering people. These types of situations trigger people because my comments been flooded with people sharing their own personal stories of horror involving people who've done things that Karen and Shannon Bedore have done, among other people. But to me, it never will make sense. So her statement, yes, do I understand that, yes, you might have been grieving your mother? Yeah, of course. It hits you when it hits you. You can't determine when that happens. However, that can't be the like the buffer around what you did, because she still didn't, in her statement, in my opinion, own up to.
No.
She just said there was something unrelated that she got cited for, which she understands. Like,
Yeah, not that it was technically one thing, and back in 2011, whatever, when this would happen, 2008, whatever, when that was happening a lot, places like Los Angeles, there was not Uber, there was not Lyft, and taxi service was not, but my God, girl, you are too grown for that. And there are so many Lyft and Uber options. I'll tell you what, I would rather spend $100 on an Uber than, what is it, depending on the state, like $10,000 on a DUI, and it not being my first either as Karen. Like, geez, man. Oof.
TMZ just released the photos. She did, in fact, hit a tree really hard. A big chunk of the tree is missing.
She is very, very lucky that she was not severely harmed, I should say. Yeah. So, shocking news to no one. Annamarie Wiley is out from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I found it interesting because she very much blamed her being fired, we'll say, on her following and going along with playing the game that production was telling her to play. And she also blames it on them not showing certain aspects of her life and certain things that she apparently filmed. That should actually tell you a lot, that the people who saw everything that we didn't see are the ones who decided to say, you know what, girl, not a good fit. Now, will I give her that they had already been filming for 2 weeks before she came in, which she said, yes, that's really tough. And
I
it
think
was
she
very
said midway
apparent.
through she came in.
Yeah, I think let me pull up that Instagram post. I meant to
She made
have it
it
up.
seem like they kind of threw her in there in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. She said that she never auditioned for the show. Yes, they found her, and out of the blue, 6 weeks after the cast had already started filming, excuse me, I was thrown into filming 2 weeks later, mid-season. So technically 8 weeks into filming. Look, if that's what's tough is yes, there were already enough storylines happening that okay, they didn't get to her stuff. But again, if production, the network saw, because they saw everything that was almost aired. You know what I mean? Things that didn't fully make it. They've seen that. They've seen the dailies. That should tell
I
you something.
I think there's a few factors that play into
Mhm.
this, and unfortunate, like for me, I feel like it was a miss on the editor's part. Even if they weren't going to ask her back, they should have included those things because it was part of her story package. Like in
Yeah.
my opinion, it is what it is. You still could have left in all these other bits like the esophagus and stuff, but we didn't get to really see her home life. We didn't get to see what was going on day to day. We got maybe 2-3 scenes out of the total time she filmed. Also, that makes me question why she was so pressed to pick fights with certain people
Mhm.
then. Well, it makes sense. She was brought in at
To do
8
that.
weeks into filming. 8
Yeah.
weeks in. These ladies had already started their mess. So she really was to fend for herself. I'm questioning whether it was production's instruction or it was like someone on the cast, Kyle,
Mhm.
allegedly, that maybe instructed her, hey, since you just jumped in, I would follow the lead of what's going
XYZ.
on. And there's issues
Mhm.
between me and Sutton's got because it was clear that she was coming as
To defend
Kyle's
Kyle. Mhm.
kind of mouthpiece a little bit. So I feel like with that, and let's not forget, there was things that they did not show us because I know they came up because it was reported on. I
Mhm.
talked about it. Her husband said some transphobic things, and it
Mhm.
was being brought up while she was filming, and that there was more to that conversation at that uh, homeless, not toothless event where
Mhm.
Crystal went off on her. There was a
Mhm.
fight before that because I can't confirm, but I think Crystal also was gunning for her about the comments her husband made. So it was a package of
Mm.
things that the editors, I think, knew, yes, even if we included the story, she probably wouldn't be well liked anyway. And we surely
Right.
weren't going to put that in her first season because then we surely wouldn't have her back.
Right.
So they tried to buffer her, but I feel like she's now trying to say that, someone
It was
told her how to be. And I don't know if production told her how to do something. I think someone on the cast,
yeah.
perhaps, because they didn't say, she didn't say producers. She did her wording very interesting.
Yeah. She just said she was told
Right. And you would
how to
assume
play the
that that
game.
means her higher ups, her producer, whoever. That
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily mean that.
You're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm, well, sorry, Annamarie, whatever. Marcus and Larsa.
Oh my God. I didn't even bother talking about this because
No.
I think everyone is just like, whatever, who cares? But apparently it's done for real.
And yeah, from what I hear, he just was continuously cheating on her. I cannot stand Larsa Pippen. I think she is a grade A asshole. And I don't say that about a lot of people. But, I think that it was what did we expect? And it has
Mhm.
nothing to do with the age difference, a lot of the temperament between the two, and the fact that we keep hearing that he was cheating on her constantly, which men.
Listen, this isn't just a Larsa issue. This is for anyone. And I'm not speaking for all younger men in these situations. But when you're talking about someone who is Michael Jordan's son, the immaturity sometimes takes longer to, grow into maturity, because you have all of these bubbles that you don't have to mature by society standards, really, because you have a lot of money, you have a lot of resources at your fingertips that you just don't have to do or think about things that a lot of other people have to.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, Larsa already was putting herself in some really scandalous waters by even dating Michael Jordan's son, who is her ex-husband's pretty much arch nemesis in basketball world.
Right.
And then pretending like we are just talking about Bob down the street. Like, it's not. And so now she's not getting what she wants out of this relationship from what the story said. I just feel like, this is why she was this is why she's so jealous. She attracts herself men who are not faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why she's constantly, you hear from other cast members like Julia at BravoCon, she got reamed out because Julia took a photo with Marcus, who was taking photos with everybody. But soon as she found out, she went in, she deleted the photos. She was pissed off. So it's just.
Yeah. Yeah.
She needs like a man. I feel like Larsa, she needs like an older guy that has his stuff together, that's not an athlete, that is a businessman, perhaps. Someone
ain't gonna put up with her shit.
Yeah, someone who's not really there. Yes, they enjoy the fame being with you, but they're not there solely for that purpose. And not that Marcus Jordan needs her for fame because he's Michael Jordan's son.
Right.
But there was a benefit. He was getting more opportunities outside of just being Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son, by being with Larsa. So I'm not discrediting their relationship at all, but I just feel like she had to have known that this was going to come. Like, how did you see this playing out? You were going to have another child with him?
Right.
That's weird.
And what was the name of their podcast again? I just forgot.
Because it was just that. It was something just to plug and make a check and capitalize off of the relationship. They knew why they got that podcast, because people wanted to know more about them and what was going on. That's why the topics around his dad were often brought up on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. God, I don't feel like looking it up. Well, now I have to. What was it, like codependent, or no, that's Maya.
No, I think it's like something more like.
Oh God. Marcus and Larsa podcast. Excuse me. Now it's just like going to be in my brain. Yeah, it was something, separation anxiety. That was the name. Jesus.
Yeah. See there, that tells you everything right there.
That's so odd. Okay. Well, Georgio, should we jump into Vanderpump Rules in the Valley? Because I mean, I love the nostalgic walk from Vanderpump Rules to the Valley that we got. Excuse me, my goodness, my voice today. When we got Jax going through, but there's a lot here. Not a ton in Vanderpump Rules, but don't worry, y'all. We do have a masterpiece theater coming up with Vanderpump Rules. We haven't done one in a minute, so why the hell not? Even if it's to just bring joy to ourselves. We enjoy it. So, okay, let's get her going. I just want to start by saying I appreciate the conversation that we got to see between Katie and Lala. You know, they both admit that they hit under the belt. And I also found it interesting that Katie said that her biggest issue is her tone and delivery. Like she said, that's her toxic trait. And I know a lot of people have not liked Katie for a long time. I have always been like, no, justice for Katie Maloney. I've always liked her. And I've always seen that she has, in my opinion, been very misunderstood. I tend to be the Lone Ranger on this. Okay. I'm very much aware. But I think it's the tone, maybe it's the tone and delivery with her giving truths that people are not ready for. And I think that's part of it, is that she sees it and she'll be like, "Hi, this is exactly what you are not wanting to confront." And she will tell people straight up. And it might be a little more intense than the way I'm saying it, but I was happy to see the two of them come to a lovely little understanding, you know?
Well, I said in my recap too, they shouldn't be fighting at all,
Mm-mm.
quite honestly, because this is not about them.
Exactly.
That's the thing that gets lost. Now we're making this about Katie and Lala's issue with it, but this stemmed from something being brought up around Scandival. Like, that's ridiculous to me. Like, I would be like the same way, like Lala said. And I actually, like I say this every week, but every week I see her. I know a lot of people don't like the way that she's coming off, but I find her to be refreshing this season. I find her to
Yeah.
be the person that is asking questions or going there, if you will, when it comes to Ariana and kind of challenging some of the things that she says and does. And whether you agree with it or not, someone has to do it. You
Well,
can't just be kumbaya. Let's all
mhm.
agree with everything Ariana says and does, because that's not reality.
No. And, I'm going to say something that a lot of people may not like, but the difference between Lala's situation and the situation with Ariana and Sandoval, they are different in the sense that, I'm sorry, I think it's worse for Lala. She has a child with the man who was absolutely cheating on her, being a raging piece of shit. I mean, y'all, the FBI was investigating him for pedophilia.
He was also running a disgusting casting couch. Okay. So
Exactly.
let's be clear. They both are monsters,
hmm
but for
But
sure,
Randall's different.
Randall's a monster. And I'm sorry, she has a child with the man. So no, she
Exactly.
didn't own the house with Randall that everyone keeps bringing up, but she has a child with him.
That's worse. I would.
So she's forever tied to this guy, and she
Mm,
despises that so much so that she's going the route that she's going with having her second child, which is with
mhm.
no man, because she's ensuring that never happens again. And I understand that completely. So I respect her
Mhm.
because she's really shown us a real progression in her journey in womanhood being
Yeah.
on the show. I can't speak for her outside the show, but on the show, she's you can go back and watch and just see the journey. And I think it's, if anything, it would be positive for her to look back on later in life to say, like, wow, look at all these things that I went through
Mhm.
publicly, you know.
Mhm. And that reminds me too that, they filmed the reunion this last Saturday, and it's been said by multiple sources that at the reunion, it was pretty boring. And then toward the end, Lala and Ariana got into it, and there was some tweet that Lala addressed on a talk show she went on. Was
The
it
talk.
yeah, I was gonna say, was it the talk? And she said, yeah, I saw the tweet that said, one, that Ariana eviscerated Lala, and two, it was friendship ending. And Lala said on there that, well, one of those things is true. I'll let you decide. Well, you know which one it is. Lala ain't gonna admit to anyone eviscerating her. So, I mean, Lord, I can't imagine doing this shit while pregnant.
Ariana is not going to be friends with Lala or Sheena after this season.
I
Guaranteed. Sheena is out.
wouldn't be
Out.
friends with Sheena after this season if I were Ariana,
It
and I don't
wasn't
care.
clear. Watch What Happens Live when Ariana was on that she's not going to be friends with her, and
But she was very kind about her, I think. I think she was very kind about her.
because she knows that the more she acts like that, then people will side
Mm,
with her more and more. It's a strategy. I'm not
it's working
saying
for
for
me.
sure that's her strategy. I'm just saying that, like, it is a strategy. She's playing to the audience in this capacity when it comes to these challenging questions that she's getting from two of the cast members, I should say. Because I don't really think they're friends like that.
Not anymore.
Well,
I
definitely not anymore, but like I think they kind of got closer during Scandival because they obviously all had to come together and like they all rallied. But some of the things that are being said makes me wonder how good of friends were you if you quickly are able to, because again, this was only a few months after all of it went down. So you guys got sick of it that quick? Because now you're starting to be like, well,
I want to be friends with Sandoval.
I always wanted Dancing with the Stars. Like, you know, like just that. And I remember who posted, I think it was By Wig Hello Drama, posted this guy who's I think it's called Psych Pop or
Yeah, pop psychology.
yeah, he like broke it down like beautifully about Sheena, how she will literally construct this whole situation in her head from real events. Let's be clear, I'm not calling her crazy, but she pulls from real events and she creates a scenario for herself that then makes her a victim. And it was so spot on because it was like, I'd been wanting to say this over and over. I just couldn't get my wording. But as soon as I saw their post on this breakdown, I was like, that's it. That's exactly what she does. But I don't know. Does she realize it? Is it something that's subconscious or is it, you know what I mean? Because
It's
sometimes people
subconscious.
are not self-aware that they're even doing it. Like, I don't think she wakes up and is like, what can I make up today about myself? Like, I think it happens.
I think most
like
people
some people
don't
lie very easily, you know, like
Yeah.
people can lie about dumb stuff real easily. You always take a step back and be like, why is it so easy for you to lie about? And, you know, the Dancing with the Stars thing, I think we're harping on too much because honestly,
Well, it
like,
was ridiculous. I'm so sorry,
it
but my
should have
God.
only been a throwaway comment on Watch What Happens Live or something like that. But to make it a thing on the show too, I don't feel sorry
listen.
for you in that
No, I
regard.
don't.
Like,
I don't
who
because let me
cares?
put it this way. For example, let's say you were invited to be a bartender on Watch What Happens Live. The only part of me that would be ready to kill you for not telling me is if you didn't tell me in time so that I could watch and support and tell everyone else to watch. Because at the end of the day, you getting an opportunity does not take away from me getting an opportunity. It doesn't work that way with my friends. What I do understand is coming from that entertainment world from acting that yes, it doesn't take away an opportunity for you, but maybe you wanted a part so badly and it is soul crushing when you don't get it. But at the same time, yeah, it for whatever reason, it would suck a little less if a friend got it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like someone I actually liked, I'm like, okay, fantastic. And plus, Sheena, how many goddamn seasons are there of Dancing with the Stars? You have another chance. But what also cracked me up is that Sandoval used the opportunity in the after show to be like,
yeah, well, I've been taking dance lessons too, dude. I really wanted Dancing with the Stars as well. I mean, I've always wanted Dancing with the Stars.
hearing that neither one of them has ever said that publicly is hilarious to me. But completely, like, regardless of that, Ariana, she did have the right answer about it, though. She said, I would think what is good for the goose is good for the gander. And I fully agree. That gives more opportunity for another Vanderpump Rules person to go on there. And quite frankly, I think Sheena would have almost had a better shot of getting on the next season if it hadn't become such a thing. But I could also see her getting it this next season. I could see it. Just for them to be like, oh, yeah, people are going to be like, let's see if Sheena actually took those dance lessons.
They're going to clown her now for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to 1000% because she's whining about it like a child. Secondly, no, they wouldn't have considered anyone from that cast last season because the show was going to be chopped. Nobody cared about it. It was running its course. Scandival revived it. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
We know this. Ariana is the spearhead of all of that. So if they're going to pick anyone, why would they pick enemy number one to come on Dancing with the Stars? They're going to pick the victim in it and let her blossom in her time. Sheena should know that there was no way in hell that even if Scandival didn't happen, that anyone, let alone her, would have been picked to be on this past season. She wouldn't have.
It's bizarre.
She wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
So now that Ariana got it, it's like, no.
And
No.
plus, you had an NDA. Who cares if you found out on Instagram? Like I said, the only thing I could imagine that like it would be similar is, like I said, if you were, I don't know, if you were in the closest thing, let's say this. Let's say there were a Bravo show developing and you were going to be on it. And that's not even something necessarily that I'm like, oh, let me go be doing that. But I can't think of anything else where there could be an NDA. And you waited to tell me until, I don't know, after it was announced. I'd be like, well, shit, I'm so excited. How did you keep that in? To me, that my first question would be like, how were you able to not tell me for so long? Instead, that's so exciting. I would be thrilled for you. I can't imagine in a world where I would be like mad at one of my best friends for not, and we're not going to say Sheena was mad, or I should say that I would be hurt by one of my best friends getting an opportunity where they signed an NDA and couldn't tell me.
Sheena's not mad about that. Sheena's masking that because she's really mad that she didn't get it. That's what this is really about. She can say, oh, well, you know, Dan told me versus you, or it was on Instagram. First of all, I'm just letting all of my friends know. If I have something in the works and there is some sort of NDA where I cannot talk about it, number one, that's going to be really, really, really freaking hard for me. Because I have a blabbermouth about my own stuff, not about other stuff.
No, we're the same.
But my own stuff, I can't keep it to myself to save my life.
No.
So, but if I was legally obligated to shut my mouth, I would shut it to everyone, including friends, because it's not personal, but that's just the way it goes. So again, Sheena is really not what I feel is happening here. Sheena's deflecting away from the issues that she has going on at home.
Oh, yeah. Her and Brock. Sorry, my nose. It just.
That is not looking good. Their relationship is not looking good. And you can see the cracks. You can see that he's really sick and tired of being in her coat pocket, essentially. He asked for consistency in some sort of schedule.
He was talking about the Vanderpump Rules filming schedule, I think.
Probably, because you know what?
It's like, how many times do I have to explain this to you? It's not consistent.
It's not going to be. It's not a TV sitcom where you're like scheduled in advance to know when you're shooting. Or a live studio. Something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you know you're shooting something, but sometimes they change the location. Sometimes they change the time. Sometimes someone can't show up for something. So you can't, during those 4 months, you're at their beck and call.
Yeah. That's like, the way it goes. Well, and let me also just, there's one thing I need to talk about with that whole scene. I just want to backtrack to one thing. I know, because I know you would be the same way. What Ariana came down to that morning after the sexy singles pool party, which, by the way, where Sandoval was trying to say it was very PG as someone is topless in the same pool that he swam in his skivvies with Rachel in and kissed her for allegedly the first time.
So there's a preview of next week's episode, and Billie Lee, they show some unseen footage from that pool party, and Billie Lee she's talking a lot of smack about Ariana. A lot. And she's the one apparently that introduced Tom to what's her name?
T.
Yeah. So she's there too, and she's trying to play the cool girl at the pool party. But it's wild because it's like Ariana's going to watch this season and she's going to cut off so many people.
I would too.
So many people.
Regardless of boundaries.
This is going to be the season that she's reflecting back to see who's really in her corner, who really was just there for the money, and who was there because it was convenient, you know? And I think it's just a rocky situation to be in because you don't really know who your friends are.
It just sucks all around. It sucks all around. Okay. You know, the Belmont, do they have so little going on at the moment that we have to hear Schwartz and Sandoval talk about the best bathroom to take a dump in LA, and that it's the Belmont?
Yeah, I don't understand all these references to them talking about taking shits. Like that one scene where Tom was like, where his friend was like, I thought you like left. And he's like, no, I actually just went to go
take
like,
a shit.
He told Ariana that at the pool party he was at with Rachel when Ariana's grandmother had just died. Mm-hmm.
But like, why is that so? Like, Why is that such a comfortable thing to just go
I
say
don't
to
know.
someone?
I don't
I
know.
will
Short of
never
your
understand
partner,
it. I like. I
no.
just. It's just so like.
Juvenile.
Hey, where were you? Oh, I was taking a shit. Oh,
Well,
okay.
he
I
did
don't know what to say to that. Like, good for
exactly.
you, or like, was it a good one?
No,
Like,
that's exactly why he said he was taking a shit, and that's why he couldn't leave the house when he was at that party with Rachel, is because when people are lying, the best way for them to be able to get away with the lie is to insert an embarrassing little truth. If you add something embarrassing in with this lie, I search for that, just so you know. And it was so obvious to me when he did it. But if you insert something that at least could be true and you have to include something mildly embarrassing, you are more likely to be believed when you're lying. Yep. That's all I saw when he said he was taking a shit and couldn't leave. Mm, 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 mm. Yep. So when Sheena goes to talk to Schwartz and mostly Sandoval at the Belmont, and she's like actually standing up for Katie, which I was going, wow, okay, look at Sheena trying to be a girl's girl for a second there. And she's telling Sandoval he should apologize and take some accountability. I found it even more interesting what she said in confessional, which is that Sandoval needs to realize everything he did was more than just about an affair. And well, that he has been on this so-called moral high ground for so long and looking down at everyone that he did not deem on his level. But then she wraps it up by doing the Sheena thing again. Then we can take baby steps toward being friends. He does the way he reacts to her in this moment shows you he is not only not ready to be friends with you again, Sheena, with anyone who is not Schwartz, who's going to baby him through the moments. Schwartz is not the type when it comes to Sandoval to be like, yo, dude, you're an asshole. You should have done this. You should have done that. He probably did that after he had already had a divorce, lost everything with the freaking bar, all of that stuff. But no, Schwartz is going to be like, oh, dude, the worst is almost over. But Sheena's like actually going, well, you need to take some accountability. No, he's not. He doesn't need to be your friend.
I also feel Sheena was just doing that for brownie points with Katie. I don't
agree.
really think she cared that much.
I was just shocked she did it at all. But I agree.
Oh, I was too, because I was like, that's the last person I thought she was going to bring up. But like, Sheena knows that eventually she's going to be friends with Tom again. So she's got to make the blow a little bit softer for herself when it all gets, confirmed that they're friends again. They're going to dinners on Wednesday nights and whatever. And you know what? Like, you may not like it, Katie, but it's not you.
Right. Well, I mean, he was pretty fucking awful to Katie through the years.
He was, and that's why I'm saying you don't have to associate with him at all.
Nope.
The fact that she's even giving him small talk is mind-blowing to me.
I agree. Speaking of small talk, the Sheena and Brock, when Sheena looks at him and when they're arguing about a nanny and him being upset about them not having a consistent schedule, and she literally says to him, lower the tone, Sandoval.
What was that about? What was that? That was so unnecessary and didn't even go with what was happening. Like, it just...
0 cents. Like, girl, you want to make 0 cents? How about that? 0 cents. 0. Well, I thought Brock most likely would have popped off at that if cameras were not around. But
he probably had words for her after the cameras went down.
I would have a lot of words, in fact.
She's been actually clowning the shit out of Brock this season on camera. That scene at the store where she tried to embarrass him and try to shut him down. We're not talking about this on camera. Well, now you have to talk about it because they're going to leave that part in for sure to let us know that there's something going on.
He is being a bit of a dickhead, though, about how she is feeling, especially like the postpartum anxiety and not wanting someone else to watch her kid. It is so easy to be like, Oh, just get a nanny, have someone else watch them. But when it's your own child, and then you have to stop and think about the fact that you have to literally leave them with someone else while you go outside of the home, it's like nightmare inducing. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought I'd be that person that's like, here, let me get you a babysitter. Nope.
I don't have a child, but I don't leave my dog with just any old body. And like,
Right.
quite frankly, our travel right now, because we have one dog who is much older and she is
Mhm.
blind and deaf. So for me, I'm not going to be able to have any good time if I
No.
left her with someone I don't for 1000% sure know they're going to take good care of her.
Mhm.
Right?
And you can
So a
trust.
baby, a human, that's a whole other level. So all I'm saying though is that she understands this is a problem for him. She has to figure out a way to meet him in the middle.
Yeah, I
That is
agree.
part of being in this marriage, partnership, parent partnership, whatever.
Mhm.
He is there. Clearly, he shows up. He
Yeah.
seems like very much present in Summer's life, but you're going to tell him because you know what it is. She makes the money.
That's what it is. Exactly. But there are ways around this. Have the nanny there while he goes in the other room to work, and he can leave for 30 minutes and an hour to go somewhere. It doesn't have to be that the nanny is
She's-
alone with her 24/7, and that's what has to be considered from Sheena's end if she can find that compromise.
Sheena has to be able to, she needs to take the time and build relationships with people, go to other people and say, can you recommend someone? She's
Exactly.
literally trying to act like she's out here by herself, like doesn't know a thing about anything.
She's got her
And I
mom,
think
she's
that's
got
what
her
he's
sister.
frustrated. I think that's what he's frustrated about.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't think he has patience around her OCD and all of that, but at the same time, you're going to lose your husband. And then what? We're supposed to say, oh, well, she wasn't supposed to take care of her child. No, but they always say you should never put your child ahead of your relationship because your
That's true.
relationship was there first.
That's true.
So you have to factor all of that in. And unfortunately, it feels like she is one of those people that is like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to do what I want. I'm the mom and I make all the money. So what are you going to do about it? Like,
Good luck to you, sir.
yeah. So it's kind of a sucky situation, honestly.
Yeah. Well, do you want to do our masterpiece theater here? I'll give you some time to pull those notes up. This scene where Tom apologizes to Katie, I loved it. I loved it. I felt like Katie just was so authentically herself. And this is part of why I like Katie is nothing in me said that she was fully just like pandering to anyone. That was how she felt. She was pandering to herself by giving herself that moment of scrolling.
For sure.
So, my friends, if you are ready for some masterpiece theater, Giorgio, you are reading the part of Tom, I believe. Yes, or I can read Tom.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
Tom.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, sir.
You know, I've been doing some thinking and reflecting on things, and I want to apologize for the way I acted last year during your divorce. I know that you were going through a lot and probably didn't need any of that extra shit.
You're apologizing. That's great for me, but like apologies are just words. At the end of the day, Tom, you like fucked up big time.
Oh, yeah.
It's fathomless, really, to carry on an affair like that.
Fathomless?
Yeah.
Like, wow, you can't even fathom that happening?
No, because you know what I did? I walked away from a 12-year marriage when I still like loved the person because I wanted to be happy. I didn't just start fucking his friend behind his back.
We're not the same people.
Obviously. You know, in her confessional, she says she loved Schwartz more than he was ever going to love her in the way that she needed. And she understands these feelings deeper than this man, as in Sandoval, and more than he's probably ever going to feel anything in his little life.
I'm trying to look back on the situation, reflect, and grow. So
Well, stop explaining yourself and just start moving differently.
I'm doing the best I can.
Well, what, like having parties here?
Katie, do you know what people are doing to me? They're like, really, Tom? A blue shirt today? You know how bad that looks?
Oh, poor Tom. Okay, you don't think that there's any issue with having like random strangers in this house? You're cohabitating, sharing a space, and it's giving audacity, is what it's giving.
Give me a little bit of grace.
No.
I'll try to do better and I'll try to stay out of the way.
I think you could just give her a little more decency and respect. Oh no, Tom, I am so sorry, you sweet poor baby. You wore a blue shirt today and everyone got mad at you for wearing a blue shirt. Just like you said at the Belmont. You're always a scapegoat. I'm sorry, but if anyone was a scapegoat for real in all of this, let's go ahead and be real honest with ourselves. It was Rachel.
Oh, 1000%. I think she realized that through therapy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, and then Schwartz Sandoval does one more thing. One of many, of course. Whenever Schwartz comes over and he's like,
Dude, it's like I'm being treated like I'm Scott Peterson.
and Schwartz goes, you're not Scott Peterson. Didn't he murder his wife? You mean his pregnant wife and unborn child?
Allegedly.
And this was all after Tom Sandoval says that he's journaling so that he can feel closer to Rachel. And this is something I need to ask you. Sandoval had pictures of him and Rachel that he said in New Zealand. Did he say those pictures are from New Zealand or that he took to New Zealand with him?
He took them.
Oh
That's
my
why
God.
I snuck these in because he probably wasn't allowed to have like certain things like that. So
From one of the disposable cameras. Got it. And then Tom goes and cries in the closet.
yeah.
Game night, we find out again about Sheena and John Mayer. We know she was in a throuple with him and Stacy, the bartender from the hills. Okay, we know. Then we get to the Tom Tom when we are about to get our Jax Taylor crossover event. Listen, there is only one thing I will give to Sandoval. He knows Jax Taylor because when he says in confessional that Jax takes joy in other people's misery and failures. I mean, it goes without saying, to be honest, but it's a fact. Because when Jax says to Sandoval, when he finally sits down, he's like, man, you look a lot better. I mean, I saw you on social media the other day and I was like, man, he looks 50 years old.
Jax is Jax.
Oh, yeah. And he hasn't changed one bit. Not one bit.
One sliver.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he just lays into him. I'm sorry. This is not the first time Jax has seen Sandoval since Scandoval. Why is he acting like it is? And that's my next point that's coming up here. Because as we transition after Jax tells Sandoval that he is, such a piece of shit and that he needs to take accountability for his actions and that he is literally Jax 7 years ago and he's a disgrace, all of that. Is it that Jax has been off of our screens for so long that I truly forgot just how contrived he is when it comes to reality TV? Or is it that he's been off our screens for so long that he forgot how to be anything but contrived and is having to get his feet wet again? Because I can't remember now.
No, he's contrived. I think we didn't realize it until he was off the show because then we got to see him not be on a show and just see him living his life. I know a lot of people are like gagging over the transition. It's not the best transition ever. Like, I don't understand why everyone was up in arms like, oh my God, that was so smooth. That was so like blah, blah, blah. It's like, of course it's smooth. It's editing. Like,
well, it was confessional editing. That was like,
but also we're clearly trying to manufacture the same success by using the same formula, backing it off of whatever's left of Vanderpump Rules. But remember, this has been years in the making for Jax. He's been
valley's been
really hard.
Yeah.
Yes, he's been trying his hardest to get the show off the ground, and finally it's happening. Finally, this is his moment to do the perfect crossover scene. So absolutely, he's prepared and probably was not speaking until he knew the cameras were rolling. So he could turn it on. And he's exactly that person. And when I lived in New York, he reminded me actually of someone. I did a pilot for some reality show and he was exactly like that. As soon as the cameras turned on, it was like, blah, blah, and it was just
Oh
like
my
not
God.
naturally how this person would be, but it was like, this is their moment kind of thing. And I get it. You have to kind of go there. But it was just
Mhm.
like weird to me. And the whole conversation just felt like
Mm.
pointless. Like you literally just came there to
Yell at Sandoval.
and then make up with him in 5 minutes and then leave.
Right.
You
Yeah.
didn't even have a bite or
A drink. Yeah.
how many takes did that take? That's what I want to know.
Probably more than we want to know because it would
How many
ruin
of the, can I do that again?
line.
No, but did you get that soundbite though? Did you really?
Mhm.
Can I just do it again?
The
You know
whole
what?
world talking about you. I'm sorry. Wait, that wasn't. I didn't roll. I I didn't roll my eyes enough. The whole world. No, that wasn't right either. Okay, just take it. Let me just walk in again.
The problem is, like, for me, that is my natural reaction to everything. Like, I'm, you know,
Yeah.
so when I see people who it's not clearly natural, like, I don't think you act like that all day.
No.
Like, I don't think he rolls his eyes this hard and goes off the hinge like that in that manner, I mean. But
Right.
also the scene really did not make sense
It didn't.
at all.
So we're just gonna do a quick skim over on the Valley very quickly. I'm gonna point something out, and people are probably gonna get mad at me.
Oh boy. Don't you guys do anything crazy.
Yeah. This is not to shame anyone. This is just me saying Brittany clearly did not only get chin lipo on the table, she had her arms marked and was wearing compression sleeve.
You know what? We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
Mm-mm.
We know she didn't tell us the full extent of what she got done on
No.
that table. No one goes
And
under no anesthesia
just
and
for that.
says, do my chin only. No, it's
Excuse
like,
me.
well, while
I-
you're there, suck
Yeah,
out
I'm gonna be like-
this. Bitch, I would. What are you, crazy?
Exactly.
I'm not going to keep going under to get these things done. No, do it
No,
all at the same time.
general anesthesia, you can get that technically like frozen
Goodbye.
off. Yeah. So the only reason I am bringing it up and pointing it out, y'all don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to shame her in any way, shape, or form. I think Brittany is stunning and I think she's too pretty for Jax. That's what I said. Okay. I don't like to talk about people's looks much, but I do. Okay. I bring it up only because I can't stand when people are not. If you're going to tell us one bit, you just tell us the whole thing. You don't have to tell us if you did anything at all, okay? But if you're going to give something about it, just go ahead and be honest because there are a lot of people out there, especially women who when we have a baby and then we look at these people who look fantastic and then we feel like dog shit about ourselves. And that is something that's one of my biggest goddamn hooks in my craw about the Kardashians and how absolutely.
You mean how much they work out?
Oh, yeah, it's just working out. I work out 5 days a week. Okay. I don't look like that. Oh, it's just genetics. No one's genetics makes them look like they have a dirty diaper in it when they aren't wearing clothing. Okay. So I think my thing that drives me nuts is the lack of transparency. Either be transparent or don't. You don't have to tell us everything. If you don't want to, you don't have to. That's totally fine. But if you're going to say something, just go ahead and say it. It's okay. I want to get, I've talked to you about it a million times. There's a procedure that you don't go under that I want to get done because it's genetic. I have the gobble wobble. It has nothing to do with weight gain, weight loss,
They have
nothing.
injectables that take that away. Like
All therapy. It's a laser. If it's loose skin.
either way, like I'm
if
not
it's loose
someone
skin, it
that
doesn't go away.
gatekeeps that type of stuff. Like if I got something
Uh-uh.
done, I'm telling you, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't get anything done.
Exactly.
I haven't had much done up until this point outside of injectables and Botox, but like I'm not saying I'm not, but if I'm on a reality show and I am healing from something,
Just be honest.
I'm just going to say, yeah, guys, last time you saw me, I had 3 chins and 4 forearms, and I decided to get it all sucked out, and so I'm healing. Yeah.
The forearms were
Also, you
convenient for
doing
getting
that-
things done.
You doing that creates less room for someone to speculate on things you got done that maybe you didn't get done, because there's so many
Exactly.
other things that are clearly cosmetically done or enhanced, and you're
Yeah.
sitting there being like, no, it's contour.
Oh my God.
Makeup
Well-
is magical. It's like,
Well,
bitch.
and it kills me too, I think. I remember when I was pregnant at the same time as pretty much like all of them. Somehow my life coincided. And before I had the podcast, when I was not doing anything except working a shitty job I hated. Anyway, I had joined this Facebook group that was like a Bravo Facebook group. And I was like, oh, this is fun. I just want to be able to look at things that people are talking about. And people were body shaming her so horrendously during her pregnancy that it made me sick. And I even couldn't help myself. And I was like, y'all, she is pregnant. Leave her alone. And I had people pile on me. And this was just like my own little personal Facebook account back in 2020. And I was like, y'all are absolute monsters. And people were
can
so
I say
cruel.
something about Facebook groups in general?
Hate them.
Those Bravo Facebook groups are you
They are
all,
nasty.
whoever you are that are in those groups, you are miserable human. No, you're not even human beings. Some of the things that I read in some of those comment sections on Facebook, not even on TikTok, not even on the worst filtered out comments that I have taken out of my posts. Nothing compares to some of the stuff that I see in some of those Bravo Facebook group accounts.
It is deplorable.
And those are the ones that have you best be sure that every time I try to post my stuff on there, like content, they remove it immediately. They remove it. They want it to be toxic. They want it to be toxic. And the people in there are all angry, triggered
by everything. But then want to be able to be as mean as they want to be without anyone saying anything.
And then you go, and it's just like classic. You go to their profile page because you're like, I want to see what Martha's up to. She's got a lot to say. Martha, God first, grandchildren, love of my life. But really? You just told her to go,
Yeah. Truly, that's exactly how it always is. A picture of their golden retriever with their grandchild.
It's always a dog in the profile picture. Always a dog. Those are the ones, and I love dogs.
Except for you, Adam, joining us on YouTube. You are always very kind.
Adam is not a troll.
We're happy to see dogs in pictures, but it's when someone's trolling, and it's usually
really just when it's a lab
frame. Yeah,
I don't know what I'm not. I don't want to give labs the wrong look here. It's not their fault that their owners all just.
But they always have to have the floral frame around it. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's different right now because they have to have the Easter frame around the profile photo. You know what I'm? You know how they change
Easter
each
egg
one.
or something on it. Yeah.
With a cross.
Yeah.
He is risen. Every time.
Yes.
I just want y'all to know, especially if you are, I have many boomers I love in my life. When I say boomer, I'm not saying that in a snide way. Y'all, it's a dead giveaway when you do the frames. If they make you happy, then do them. But I'm just saying, it's usually a dead giveaway. So we're just going to skim over this some, except for the fact that, of course, Kristen, when she met Luke, they had sex in a tent. Behind a tent at a wedding, because that is Kristen. Kristen is the bridesmaid who is, oh my God, whatever you need, I'm here. I'll do it for you. Yeah, Mariposa, whatever, I've got you. Is this lavender? Can I eat it? Anything you want. Hey, little Miss Bride, I brought you some lavender. You looked hungry. Lavender on toast. You need to get your energy for the day. And then she gets wasted and has sex with a groomsman. That's it, specifically in an outdoor location. But
that a girl, she is not going to let anyone keep her down.
No, she is not. And again, it's another person who's living in my old apartment building. I loved living there. It was my favorite place ever. And it looks the exact same. I liked Danny and Nia. Sweet baby Jesus. I God bless, 3 children under 2 years old. And the only reason Jax is annoyed by Danny saying it all the time is because Jax is like somehow being competitive with Danny on this. And he's like, oh yeah, well, Cruz, he's a lot, okay? He's a lot. And I don't know if you know what it's like being a father to a toddler. 3 under 2 years old, I would not be alive anymore. And Nia looks radiant. While
Yeah, I was like, as
a baby
stressed
on
as
each
she
boob?
probably is. She's like literally there, like graceful and just like not a bag in sight under those eyes. And I know she's tired, but also I think it speaks to Danny because it's clear just in the few moments how involved he is and how partnered they are. And I think that makes a huge difference in comparison to when you see other couples. Ugh,
let me
there's
just
one guy. I know we're gonna get to him.
Oh yes, we are, because I despise who we're about to talk
I
about.
have never been so annoyed in wanting to like strangle someone. I don't mean for real. I wouldn't do it for real. I'm just saying,
Just
like, he was
consider it.
on my nerve.
Same. Well, let me just start with this. The fellow women out there who have had children, breastfeeding, as hard as it is, and if you miss pumping or feeding, like part of the reason why you can't sleep through the night if you are breastfeeding is because your boobs fill up to the point where you cannot sleep on your stomach, and it is painful. Okay. That happens within the worst case is like 6 hours. Okay. With 2, one of the reasons, like I remember I went to a lactation consultant and she was like, girl, no, don't put the pump on both sides of your boobs. Oh my God, I hear an echo on your end. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to. Is there a delay?
I don't hear a delay or
Okay,
echo.
maybe I don't know what I'm hearing then. Okay, this has happened before. Anyway, they tell you not to put one on each side when you're pumping, and especially even if you're trying to get your milk supply up, because then your body thinks you're having twins. And then that time that like your body goes, oh, let me produce even more. So she probably cannot go 3 hours at all without pumping or feeding if she's breastfeeding. I pray to God, listen, whatever's healthy, you make your own choices. Fed is best, okay? Healthy is best. But my God, all I can think about is then a toddler on top of that. I just want everyone to understand where Nia is physically, mentally later on in the episode. Okay. But let's talk about this absolute douche canoe of a human being, Jesse. Real quick. Not only do we find out he didn't even get up with their newborn child once. I am so triggered by all of this. Like, clearly. We didn't need, I know that they have now separated, but he and Michelle have. You wouldn't have had to tell me that. We knew that was coming. He is an absolute garbage man. He is not only like Jax 2.0, he's like a clone of Jax. If they were like, hey, let's see if we turned up the douche canoe knob a little bit more. What do you sirs think, gentlemen? Yes, because he is a man written by men. You know how they say that they're a man, like man giving written by a woman energy. If you know, you know. He gives man written by a 15-year-old boy energy. Okay? Hate him. Despise. Loathe.
Oh, the way that when she said she slept in another room when she had her baby because I would bash his face in. Do you understand? Now I would do that. I'm telling you right now, so when she was pulling the stuff out of that laundry and he said that little bit and she turned around, she was like, do you want to do it? That was like, say one more fucking thing to me right now about what I'm doing. Go find something to do. Except all you want to do clearly is drink champagne. Like, who the hell are you?
At 10 o'clock on a Tuesday? You're not on vacation?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you own the agency? Oh, no, you don't. Like, what are you doing?
On top of that, okay, we're going to stay on the subject of Jesse because then we're not going to do like a full recap of this. We're just going to talk about them for a minute. So when he at the party says to Kristen, when they're standing in line waiting for the real tattoos at the family birthday party,
That was wild to me. I would never get a tattoo at someone's family party. I don't
No.
care.
I
I
don't-
do not care what it is.
No, I'm not getting a dot even.
Not at all.
It was wild. And Kristen wants to like cut him in line or something while Lala's getting her tattoo. And he's very much like, no, I've been waiting in line. I've been waiting my turn, blah, blah, blah. And he's annoying the shit out of her. And she goes to give him a little nipple titty twister. And he tries to do it right back to her. Now, I know those type of guys that are like, well, you did it to me, so I'll do it to you. First of all, I don't care if at this point, I was going to try and be like considerate with this, but no, I'm unhinged today, so it's going to continue. I don't give a fuck if she did it to you first. Until society treats women's chests the way they treat men's chests, you don't do it back. Did she need to do that?
First
No,
of all,
but
how old are you that even if she did, let me just say this. I worked with women for a majority of my beginning first career in beauty and fashion. The amount of times playfully a coworker or someone of mine would come do that or pinch you or do something, I never did it back to them and never felt inclined to. Why?
that's it right there.
Because the implication looks, feels, and is just different. There is no way that if I got my nipple twisted by a woman, that I'm going to turn around and try to do it back to her. Now, you're a straight man who's married and is a father with a daughter. Sir, what is going on? Because I'm pretty sure you wouldn't like it if a boy tried to do that to your daughter. Even if your daughter did that to him first, you would have a serious problem with it, as you should.
Agreed.
But you then take it a step further, and I'm really shocked that she didn't pop off when he called her the mistress, Lala.
Oh, Lala, yeah.
And
I
she
was
very
shocked
gently
too.
let it go, but I was like, really? You're letting that go? I would have gone ape shit on that man. I'm like, who are you, first of all? Where's your wife?
She was standing right. Yeah, she was standing right there too. And that's the thing is the only thing I can imagine as to why Lala didn't pop off is because she was like, this again, douche canoe.
Not worth. Yeah, no, he wants camera time. Someone
and
told him
he's drunk.
that was a buzzword.
Yeah,
Someone
and he's
told him
drunk.
that was clearly a buzzword.
Because then he said, oh, let me be cultured, my side piece. He is so blatantly hitting on Lala in front of his gorgeous wife, which it doesn't even matter what his wife looks like. Are you murder? His wife was so much nicer to him than I would have.
You know how
been.
I always bring up that show Snapped?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same.
He would be the quote unquote victim.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be the one starting a GoFundMe for Michelle to get her out of prison. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of spirit that would drive someone to do something absolutely insane.
Yes. I would have grabbed the tattoo
and I'm
gun
not
and
saying
tattooed
people
my name on his
should not be personally accountable for their own decision making, but I am saying there are men like Jesse.
Oh, yes, there are.
All around, all shapes and sizes, all different financial backgrounds, and they all act just like that. You know why? Because their only currency to socialize is to be a douchebag.
Mm-hmm. And it's not even in the sense where he thinks it is, that it's like, oh, my friends told me as soon as you realized you were a douche, then you were actually likable. No, nothing about him is likable to me. Like I said, if I were Michelle, I would have been like, oh, you want your tattoo? Get the fuck over here. I would have strapped his ass down. I would have taken that tattoo gun and I would have taken my shaky hand and drawn my name on his forehead. Then I would have crossed it out and been like, now live with yourself. And I would have been like, bye.
If I was Michelle, I would be dying to get on any reality show so I can make a check to get the hell out of Dodge. That is why it's clear from episode 1, she is sick of him. I'm sick of him, and I've only seen an edited glimpse at who he is. And I get this is reality TV, so he's spicing it up, but there's no way you're pulling that out of your back pocket and it's not somewhat natural.
Oh, yeah. He's spicing it up, but no, that is him at his fucking
Is he
core.
spicing it up? That's what I want to know. Like,
just because he's drunk, he thinks he's needing to perform. Now, the only other, I liked Janet and Jason. I love that she pitched to us that she would be fantastic in prison in this wonderful way. I like them so far. Jason seems very sweet. He seems like just a kind soul. Please stay that way. The only other thing is Jax. Why does he hate Luke specifically? What is it that he knows about Luke that we don't know? Is it the simple fact that Jax cannot possibly stand to see Kristen happy? Because yes, we know Dodie, crazy Kristen, we know, okay? I hate calling a woman crazy, but we know she's cuckoo bird, okay? What is his deal that he just is such an asshole to him? I don't get it. It's not his fault Kristen rebounded with him.
Because he's still sexually attracted to Kristen. Can I just say, I love me some Kristen Doty, but her overall image on the shows now that she's been on, if you've ever seen the movie Fear with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon, Alyssa Milano's character in that movie is very much giving Kristen Doty. Like, she will accidentally sleep with your boyfriend and then cry and make it about her. And this is what I think Jax looks at when he sees Kristen. Because Jax is a womanizer. He does not respect women, clearly. Duh. But the Luke thing has everything to do with the fact that he's just a normal guy. Is nothing to bring to the table for anybody else on that show.
He doesn't.
He's just a regular dude. Yeah. He's not interesting. And I guarantee you the conversations off camera were, he's not great to look like. He's not TV material. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you're not, and I know you're not saying that Luke's not a good looking guy. It's
not at all. Like, he's just too regular for Jax.
This
is Jax's show. So
Jax 3 nose jobs later, Jax. Let's remember that. And yeah, we don't talk about people's looks that they can't fix in 15 minutes, so I'm not going to say anything.
There is nothing wrong with the way Luke looks. I think he is a good match for Kristen. I think she needs someone like Luke. And frankly, I was a little annoyed for Kristen because I feel like she just walked right back into being the clown of the show.
I agree.
And Jax is perpetuating it all on his own.
She's not ready for a baby, which, by the way, she said exactly what I blurted out, essentially, which when he's like, okay, wait, let me backtrack to when he says to Luke, you would have a baby out of wedlock? I mean, wedlock? What year are we in?
Oh, now he's a man of faith, and he's trying to stick to the moral code around how you start a family planner. Is that what we are? Give me a break.
Mean, Jax, all I can see is that you are like, you look like, I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I mean, that
he's
really
just doing it because he knows what he's doing. That's exactly why.
Such a twat of a man right now. We're hate watching it, but we're enjoying it. I'm enjoying the Valley. I want you to.
Good. I'm intrigued. These couples intrigue me. I will say that. I wasn't sure, but again, you don't know until you sit down and give it a shot. So, like. And I clearly wasn't alone because I really thought when I put out my recap, I was like, oh, this recap's long because it's, the first episode of, I don't know any of these people. So I'm trying to go through it. And I was like, I don't think people are going to really care. Trended higher than my Vanderpump Rules recap because people did watch and they did see something in it. There is potential there. I can see it.
Because the audience has grown to this age as well. We've grown.
And so we can relate to some of those aspects for sure.
Exactly. We have Southern hospitality where we can enjoy the nightlife, hot, sexy singles who are working. So we have that new fresh take on it where it's not just the LA desperate to be on reality TV crew. This is now a group of people that were like, they could have been on Vanderpump Rules to begin with and they weren't. Jax is getting like hyper focused, and honestly, it's also most likely due to substances he is taking because it's causing the hyperfocus. He went skiing, I think, Georgio,
He's always going skiing. What are you talking about?
at a birthday party where there are children. And, to wrap it all up too, after he hyperfixates on wanting to prove that Kristen is not ready to have a baby, who cares if she thought she was going to have a baby with Alex? She didn't. Okay. She wants
First
to
of
have
all,
a clue.
if she decided to have a baby with a sperm donor like Lala did, it wouldn't matter, and it's no one's business.
So ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Really insane how hard he went about this, and I feel like this is going to be her whole thing. But now it makes sense in the trailer when we see her going after Jesse and Nia, Michelle.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm like, yeah. It's like, y'all are not going to make me look crazy when y'all are not even together.
That's that energy, honey. And then Jax pantsed Danny. And I know a lot of people were like, what is wrong with Nia? Why was she so upset? Well,
I knew instantly why. She just had a baby.
Exactly.
She has 2 other babies. And
she's just had
her
2
hormones are all over the place, and she's on a TV show. This is the first time, clearly, she's been in an environment like this. So now her husband's junk's being exposed for
on
national
television.
TV, and kids are around. Her kids are around. Now her kids have to watch their dad look like an asshole because Jax is being a doofus. Yeah, I knew instantly. I would have done that.
I would have.
I would have done that because obviously not because it was sad that he did that. It was more of like, why would you you're a grown man. That's something you would expect to happen at like a high school college party. And actually, I don't even think I've ever been to any parties ever, even at a younger age, where anyone's really done that to be funny. It's like, you're just being an asshole.
Maybe once, but at a pool party, no, you don't do that.
You know what it was about? Danny and Nia are too, they have it 2 together. So he wanted to.
They're too happy.
Yeah. We gotta knock that out. Like, you're too cool for school, and we're gonna cut that out now.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to doing this type of recapping for us on Thursdays. I think this is our new jam for right now. How do you feel about it?
I love it. I like conversating around what happened on the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like breaking down the episodes, but there's so much going on in the midst of what we're seeing as well. Like, there's context clues, when if you've been watching Bravo a while and these people, like some of the stuff, you just eye roll because you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're doing here.
Exactly.
Like Lala and Sheena just showing up to this party. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, right. But I'm here for it. I love it.
I love it too.
I love that. Let's say hello to some besties real quick. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Adam. Hi, Simona. Let's see. Hi, Sienna. Hi. I don't see a name. I just say beautiful waterfall. Oh, thank you for the hair love. I'm trying to do it natural lately. Working through it. It turns out different every single time. Hi, Amaya. Thank y'all for joining us. And Georgio, I'm just so glad you got to be here with me. Y'all, please leave the 5-star reviews. They mean everything. I'm considering doing a little giveaway of some sort along with that I'm gonna I'm finishing working that together. I've really been amping up the Etsy shop because I have fun designing things, and I like designing like Bravo style stuff that I don't really see anyone else doing, because I like it to not be so obvious that it's fan merch. And I know you're the same way. Like I want it to look like something that someone's like, huh, Bravo, what, like Bravoholic, Bravo girly, what is that? And so that it's not so obvious. So anyway, it's under the name Pop Culture Besties, just because I want to add more than just Bravo. But check that out. Find Georgio at Georgio Says. Go check out his YouTube. For the love of God, he's putting fantastic content up on here, okay? And follow him on TikTok, on Instagram. Go listen to his podcast. Georgio always has the latest hot goss, okay? He does the research, so go follow him there, please.
I'm just a nosy biatch.
Me too.
I can't help myself.
That's why I say those of us who watch reality TV, we're just nosy by nature. We just are. That's why we love reality TV. But anywho, okay, my friends, I will see you on Tuesday where we'll talk about hate watching Summer House a little bit. I'll probably be solo this coming Tuesday, but I will be live at 1:30. I'm sorry, that's my time at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, 12:30 Pacific. And I think Giorgio and I will be here at 3 p.m. on next Thursday.
Yes.
If I can get my life together here. So thank y'all for joining, and we will see you next week. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.